Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today's review is going to be all about farm jacks. Not too sure if any of you have ever used a farm jack. I used a farm jack, well, when I was back on the farm. But for most of you, maybe you haven't heard of a farm jack. Well, here's two farm jacks here, and the bright red one is the one that I just bought. It's a Torin, and I'm going to explain a little bit about these farm jacks. And you can decide whether you could possibly use one, in your life. You don't have to be on a farm, right? You can use them for all kinds of different things. But I'm going to take you up to my place in Northern Ontario right now. And we're going to take a look at, well, the reason why one farm jack is okay, but two farm jacks is better. And I'm going to show you what I use them for and what I did with my farm jack this fall on, well, you take a look and you'll see exactly what a farm jack could be used for if you've got a remote place in a place like mine up in Northern Ontario. So let's take a look right now. So let's start off right here. If you take a look at that, that's my shower room. And when I was standing in the shower during the springtime, well, all the water went right to the back, so I knew I had to level it out. But I like you to just look at that right there. And I'm about 4 or 5 inches off the ground. When I first put that platform in there, I was a foot. So I was going to put some steps to get inside. And look how much that has gone down in 20 years. So if we take a look along the side here, you can see how the front, yeah, it's right in the ground. And the back, well, you can see right there, what I did was I used the farm jack, had to excavate a little bit around here, and lifted it up and put that board underneath. So it's hard to see from here, but that's 3 inches higher. That's how much I had to level this out, by 3 inches. And my drain just goes down. Well, it's not quite touching, is it? But I tell you what, in the springtime, yeah, that was right down inside. So I had to lift that all up. So yeah, that's just the drain there. It just goes down, and then it comes along the grass and comes out about there, just in the lawn. So if we take a look at the back here, well, I'll tell you something. In the springtime, I couldn't even hardly open up them doors. Could you imagine that? It was so low. I got some brick down in there, just all the way along, and it was just touching on the brick. So I had to level it all up and lift it all up. And once I did that, I put the farm jack underneath there. Then I put these little scissor jacks in there, so now I can adjust it every year from time to time. But the farm jack comes in handy. And on this side here, you could see I had to do the same thing. And I had to lift it all up. And I'm going to show you what kind of piers I put this on, if you can't see it from here. But let's go over to the my little generator shed, and you can take a look there. Okay, so there's the generator shed, and you can see them blocks that I put on, and you see how far that's gone down? Same thing, it was about a foot higher when I first installed it, about maybe 15 years ago. And this is where I just leave my rotary cutter right here in the fall. Today's the last day I'm up at the camp and closing it all up. But this is the same idea that I used on all of them. Is if you take a look there, you can see how on this one here I've used a 2x6, and then I cut another stringer down below so it fits in the slot, and then a 4x4 on top. And if we take a look at the back here, they were on ground level. Them blocks, they were all ground level about 15-20 years ago, and they just sink in. So the farm jack is ideal for lifting it up. Then you can put another board underneath. Well, one farm jack ain't good enough. That's why I got two. Well, today's the last day, and it's a beautiful day up here. And all I have to do is put my flags away. And I want to show you something that I did yesterday. I should have had these years ago. But I'll tell you what, never knew if they're any good or not. But them lights, Put one there, one there, one there, and one at the end. And I tell you, at nighttime, they come on dull. And then when you step out the door, they go bright. And I tell you, out here on the deck, it is absolutely fantastic now. So if anybody's thinking about looking at these lights like I did, I tell you what, they are fantastic. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these farm jacks. This one here is a Princess Auto model, and it's 2 tons, 4,000 pound unit, and it's 60 inches tall. And that's it right there. And I have no use for a 60-inch, you know, farm jack because, you know, really, who's lifting something that tall? So that's the reason why I went over to this one. And this one here is only 33 inches. And in reality, that's about all you really need. But this one here, 3 tons, so 6,000 pounds. I tell you, when I was trying to lift the building on the edges there, well, the 2-ton unit, it would lift it, but man, I would have to stand right on the end there, like I was putting all my weight right on the end of the bar, and not on this one, but on the other one. And you know, when you take a look at that handle, it's a lot longer than the other one, and I was reefing on this like big time, huge. Now this is like a small little rubber insert here just to hold the handle in place, because I find that the little clip down the bottom there, well, it don't hold nothing. It just fall back and hit you right in the head. So let's take a look at this. I'll show you this in operation. It's very unique type of jacking system. And if you take a look at the top there, you'll see that there's a hook. I'll take that off. I never use that, because you could see how that would be a problem for me. If I tried to get close to a building, you come all the way down here and you see, well, you can't get underneath, right? If I tried to go underneath one of my buildings there, that hook on the top, useless. Now you can undo it and you know, take it off completely. But the reason why some people have these is, just imagine this jack is coming up like this. Well, you can compress things, and you can compress it on this. Or you can take this end here and you can put a loop through there, like a strap or something, to a tree. And then down on this end, you can attach it to your vehicle or anything that you want to pull to get out of the way. And you got 6,000 pounds of pulling strength that can, you know, it's almost like a winch to pull something out. But on the farm, generally what we use this for, when we couldn't get close enough with the hydraulics on a tractor or a front end loader or something like that, is you just hook a chain around this, tie it to a fence post, and you can pull a fence post right out of the ground. So I've pulled fence posts out with this, and even metal fence posts. I would just drill a hole through the metal post and then put a chain around it. It would just pull that right out of the ground, no problem. So let's take a look and see how the unit operates. And maybe, you know, maybe you could consider getting one of these. They're not that expensive. Like this one here, I got on the Amazon warehouse price, and I paid like $56. And the regular price is around $100. And you can buy these at Princess Auto for about 60 bucks, sometimes less, depending on what kind of sale they got. But would I recommend a 60-inch unit like this? Nah, not a chance. I'm never going to lift anything from here all the way up this high. There's no way. So let's take a look at this one here and see how easy it is to operate. Okay, so here's the unit right here, and I'll just give you a general idea how it works. And the only thing I would say is this retaining bolt right here, I always use some Loctite. It goes into a casting here. I always use some Loctite and Loctite it in, because this bolt will get loose and just fall out on you. Every one I've ever used, that's usually what happens. But that's one thing that I would do. So the whole idea behind this is this little lever. You lift it up for the jack to go up. You push it back down for the jack to go down. It's got a big pin here, and it's mainly used so you could use your foot on putting it down and raising it up. So if I were to just lift it up like this, it goes into this little cog, and then you can see how it goes up and down, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll give you a close-up look of how that actually operates, and how neat a farm jack actually is. And you know what you could use this for is unlimited uses, and it's got holes in the base plate, 3 holes in the base plate, so you could mount it, like if you wanted to put it on a you know, like a big board or something like that for more stability, depending on what you're using this for. So let's get a close-up look and see how this looks in operation. Okay, so here we are, and as you lift it up, it goes up and it puts the pin in one of these holes. So it's really secure. Now it's in this pin here. You lift this up, and now it's in the next pin. So it's always secured. It's in this pin. Now it's in this pin. Now what I do is I always lube these spots right here, and it's got a stainless steel spring to hold it in. But it's quite an ingenious system that's always locking it in for safety, one peg at a time. Now, the thing that you'll have to realize with this as well is, if you want to go down, if you don't have any load on the end, well, it's just going to drop down to the bottom, right? So if you had a load on there now, it would just go down one pin at a time. But since I don't have a load, it's just going to drop all the way down. And that's it right there. So if we just take a quick look at the farm jack again here, you can see that the distance between here and the top, you're just under 4.5, 5 inches. And of course, where I was digging, I had to actually get down underneath the board and the 4x4. So I had to excavate down a good, well, 10 inches. Then I put a 2x6 in there so I get some support. And even still, I went down about maybe 6 inches before it started to lift, because you got a lot of pressure on there. And you know, the harder you're lifting up, the more it's lifting going in the opposite direction, right? So, but I would say generally, I would stick with 48 inches and under is all you're ever going to really need. I don't know what you're lifting out of the ground with, but they do come in handy, and you can put an extra pipe on here if you wanted to for more leverage. You know, just like a regular fence, steel fence post or anything like that inside here, just to get yourself some more leverage. But yeah, I have to excavate down many times because, you know, you're already almost 5 inches high. Plus you need to put like a board underneath there or something, or you're just going to keep sinking down into the ground, right? So they are come in quite handy. I really don't, I couldn't envision myself with like trying to use a bottle jack or like an automotive jack or something like that, because it's just not very practical. And as you can see here, I take this off. I'll never use this again. This sitting here like this, and you can't install it like this. It won't fit. So this sitting here like this, well, it's completely useless, because all it does is just block any entry, you know, for this to get in, especially if you're up against a building. So I would say I've had good use out of this 2-ton. It's been great so far with everything. But man, like I say, I was standing right on the end of that pipe, just like really reefing down on it just to get it to go to the next pin up. And the 3-ton, I think, is going to be a lot better. So thanks for joining me here today. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a demonstration on what a farm jack is. And you know, I think this is the only product that I've ever seen where the word farm and then the tool beside it is actually a legitimate thing. It's not like a slang name. It is an actual product called a farm jack. I've never seen like farm pliers or farm ratchet or farm hammer, or, you know, so I just thought I'd bring this up today. And, you know, a lot of people maybe have never seen these jacks before. But I tell you what, you know, if you're handy and you have buildings and you have something that you want to lift or move, you know, or push or pull, these are the units. So thanks for joining me here today. Come back again if you haven't seen this channel before. You're welcome to subscribe and see some unique things that I do with some unique ways, and maybe, you know, you might find it unique too. Cheers.